In the quiet town of Pleasantville, darkness lurked in the shadows, unbeknownst to its innocent inhabitants. A picture-perfect embodiment of tranquility, Pleasantville was the quintessential small town, where neighbors greeted each other with warm smiles and children frolicked freely in the parks. But beneath this idyllic facade, a chilling truth simmered. This haven of peace was also the hunting ground for a menace, a predator hiding in plain sight. A serial killer, whose presence was yet to be discovered, walked amongst them, blending seamlessly with the unsuspecting townsfolk. The butcher, the baker, the school teacher, even the friendly mailman. Any one of them could be the wolf in sheep's clothing. This dreadful revelation was about to shatter the serene life of Pleasantville, leaving its denizens grappling with fear and disbelief. Pleasantville was about to live up to its name in the most ironic way possible. Every monster has a beginning, and our killer was no exception. In the quiet, unsuspecting town where our story unfolds, a child was born. An ordinary birth to an ordinary family. But this child was anything but ordinary. It's in this seemingly innocuous environment that our killer's story begins, a stark contrast to the terror he would later unleash. As a child, he was known to be different, a loner, preferring the company of shadows over that of his peers. His parents, concerned yet baffled, watched as their son slipped further into his own world, a world that would later become a breeding ground for unthinkable horrors. Psychologists often point to early childhood experiences as key factors in shaping an individual's personality. For our killer, these experiences were tainted with cruelty. He was a victim of bullying, a silent sufferer who hid his scars behind a terrifyingly calm facade. This early exposure to violence, some theorists suggest, may have desensitized him to the suffering of others and planted the seeds of his deviant behavior. His adolescence was marked by a disturbing fascination with death. He would spend hours in the local cemetery, lost in thought among the tombstones. He was drawn to the macabre, finding comfort in the chilling embrace of darkness. But it wasn't just his fascination with death that set him apart. A cruel streak ran deep within him, evident in his treatment of animals. He found pleasure in their pain, a chilling indication of his future atrocities. Psychologists argue that such behavior, known as the McDonald triad, is a potential indicator of violent tendencies. The triad consists of cruelty to animals, fascination with fire setting, and persistent bedwetting past a certain age. While not every individual displaying these signs becomes a violent criminal, in our killer's case, they were signposts on the road to his descent into darkness. The seeds of darkness were sown, waiting for the right moment to sprout into a horrifying reality. The killer's reign of terror began on a cold winter's night. Amid the quiet slumber of the small town, a chilling event was about to unfold, one that would send shockwaves through the community. The first victim, a woman known for her kindness and charm, was found lifeless in her own home. The tranquility of her sanctuary brutally shattered. The scene was haunting, filled with a silence that spoke volumes. The walls bore witness to the horror, a grim tableau that seemed too gruesome to be real. The once vibrant home was now a chilling crime scene, the echoes of laughter replaced with the crushing silence of death. The police were called in the early hours, their breath clouding in the frosty air as they surveyed the scene. The initial shock gave way to a grim determination. They were dealing with something beyond their everyday misdemeanors. The sense of urgency was palpable, the air heavy with the weight of the task that lay ahead of them. They found no signs of forced entry, no clear motive. It was a puzzle that defied logic, a crime that seemed to be birthed from the shadows. The town woke to the news of the murder, the dawn bringing with it a reality far colder than the winter chill. The town had lost its innocence, and the hunt for the predator had begun. The killer, emboldened by his first kill, plunged Pleasantville into a nightmare. A reign of terror had begun. The once peaceful town was now gripped by fear and uncertainty. Shadows lurked ominously in every corner. Whispers of the unknown killer echoed through the cold winter air. The once mundane routine of life was disrupted, replaced by a chilling suspense that hung heavy over the town. The killer had a modus operandi, a chilling pattern that became evident with each new victim. He would strike in the dead of night, leaving no trace of his presence, save for the lifeless bodies he left behind. Each victim was found in their homes, their lives extinguished without a struggle, suggesting a killer who was both methodical and ruthless. The police were baffled. Despite their best efforts, the killer remained elusive. He was like a ghost, slipping away into the night after each horrific act. The police force, once a symbol of safety and protection, was now a beacon of frustration and desperation. Their inability to catch the killer only fueled the town's growing fear. The town was under siege not by an invading army but by one man, a man whose identity remained a mystery. His acts were not random but calculated, each one a chilling testament to his cold-blooded efficiency. He was not just a killer, he was a predator, stalking his prey with a terrifying precision. As the days turned into weeks, the killings continued. The body count rose, each new victim a grim reminder of the town's impotence against this unseen foe. The once bustling streets of Pleasantville were now deserted, its inhabitants living in constant fear of the night and the horrors it brought. The killer was not just stealing lives, he was stealing the town's sense of security, its peace, its very soul. Every new dawn brought with it the dread of discovering another victim, another life violently snuffed out. As the body count rose, so did the town's fear and desperation. In the world of a serial killer, the end is as inevitable as the beginning. The end began on a chilly autumn evening. The once bustling streets of Pleasantville had become eerily quiet, the terror of the unknown killer hanging heavy in the air. But the wheels of justice were turning. Quietly, relentlessly. The break in the case came from a place no one expected. A small, nondescript laundromat on the edge of town. The owner had found a blood-stained shirt discarded in the trash. Forensic analysis linked the blood to the latest victim. The shirt, however, belonged to a man named John Doe, a well-respected member of the community, a face hidden in plain sight. John Doe was a man of few words, a solitary figure who lived a quiet life. But beneath the veneer of normality, he harbored a darkness that would shake Pleasantville to its core. When the police arrived at his doorstep, they found evidence that would seal his fate. A collection of personal items from each victim, a chilling testament to his gruesome deeds. The town's reaction to John Doe's unmasking was a mix of shock and relief. Shock at the realization that the monster they feared had been living among them all along. Relief that the nightmare was finally over. But the revelation also brought a sense of betrayal. They had trusted John Doe, welcomed him into their homes and their lives. Now they were left grappling with the knowledge that he was the faceless terror that had haunted their dreams. The trial was swift. The evidence against John Doe was overwhelming. As the gavel fell, so did the mask of the killer. The face of John Doe would forever be etched in the memory of Pleasantville, a grim reminder of the darkness that had once lurked in their midst. The monster was unmasked, but the scars he left on Pleasantville would never fade. In the wake of the horror, Pleasantville struggled to regain its lost peace. A shroud of grief and fear had descended over this once tranquil town, transforming it into a hollow echo of its former self. The streets, once bustling with life, now lay silent, the laughter and cheer replaced by hushed whispers and wary glances. The townsfolk grappled with the trauma, their sense of security shattered. The local church became a sanctuary, its pews filled with those seeking solace and answers. Candlelight vigils were held, a beacon of unity and resilience in the face of unspeakable evil. In the midst of their sorrow, the residents of Pleasantville found the strength to support one another. Their shared grief became a source of connection, a testament to the human spirit's indomitable will to heal and persevere. As for the killer, his reign of terror ended as abruptly as it had begun. Consigned to a life behind bars, he was left to languish in the cold confines of his cell, a stark contrast to the fear he had once instilled. His deeds, a haunting legacy that would forever cast a long, dark shadow over Pleasantville. The story of the Pleasantville killer serves as a chilling reminder that monsters can lurk in the most unexpected places. We are left with an unsettling truth. Beneath the veneer of tranquility, darkness can dwell, waiting for its moment to rise.